All right, so page 4 of the workbook here. This should be just kind of a review from yesterday. We did problems like this right away. Add or subtract fractions. They all have a common denominator, so it should be just simply adding them. Okay, so the first one. Madison, what do you think on that one?
5/5.
Say that again.
5/5.
5 over 5. Can we reduce that?
1.
That's 1, yes. 5 over 5 or 1. 4 over 9 minus 3 over 9. Asia, what do you think? 1/9. Kira, what do you think for number 3? 17 over 8. Now we should make that into a mixed number, because right now it's an improper fraction. So how many times does 8 go into 17? 2. So what's 8 times 2? So how much would be left over from the 17 if I take 16 away from it? 1, 2, and 1/8. Madison, back to you. 3 over 7 plus 1 over 7. 4 over 7 is correct. Asia, you take number 5 for me. 7 over 4. How many times does 4 go into 7? Once. If I take 4 away from 7, what do I got left? 7 minus 4. I got 3 left, so 1 3/4 for that one. Problem 6. What's 15 plus 10? So 25 over 10. Let's make it into a mixed number again. How many times can we get 10 into 25? 2 times. So if I take 20 away from 25, what do I got left? I got 5 left. Over 10. And then we can reduce it. 5 over 10 is 1/2. So 2 1/2 is your answer to that one. Okay, next problem. Tell the maximum, minimum, range, mode, and mean. First thing I'm going to do again is put them in order. 40, 50, 60, 80. 6 numbers. Hopefully I got them all. What is the max? Biggest number there. Yep. The min? 20. The range? 80 minus 20, 60. The mode? Which one's the most common? 20. And now the mean, so we got to add them up. Let's look for nice numbers to add up. What's 20 and 80 add up to? 100. How about 60 and 40? 100. And then I got 50 and 20. 70. So that's 270 divided by, how many numbers do I have? 270 divided by 6. How many times does 6 go into 270? 4 times. That'd be 24 minus, or from 27 would be 30. 6 into 30. 6 times what is 30? 5 is correct. So the mean is 45. Okay, next problem, why don't you start by just putting those in order. Smallest to biggest. Aisha, you got them in order? You want to read them to me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
20, you said. I wrote down 12. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 numbers. All right. What is the max? Min? Range. Gotta subtract them. 19. Mode. 7. If there would ever be no mode, guys, you just write none or no mode. They're all listed once. This one has 7 twice. The mean. Again, I'm going to look for numbers that add up nicely together. Like 9 and 1. 9 plus 1. 8 and 2. 7 and 3. 7 and 3. 10. 6 and 4. 10. And then I have 10 and 20. And then that's 7 yet. So is that a lot easier to find numbers that go together nicely? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 7. They add up to 77. And I'm dividing by 11 numbers. That would be 7. 7 times 11 would give me 77. Very good. All right, page 5. This is going to be the new stuff for today. Okay. It's also found in your notes there, so go ahead and get your note page out. You can close your workbook. We'll put them there so they get into your binder. Have you ever seen LCD before or LCM on a paper? So do you have any idea what any of those letters stand for? Okay, it stands for least common denominator. Do you know what spot the denominator is of a fraction? The bottom, yes. Least common denominator. Okay, it's sometimes called the least common multiple when you're not dealing with fractions. So it is the smallest matching multiple of the denominators. That means the smallest number that both those denominators can go into. Okay, so if you look at the first example, we'll just jump right in. What are my denominators? 5 and 4, right? So if I were to take 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4, and I can go on forever. And I do the same thing for 4. 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 4 times 4, 4 times 5, and 6, and so on. Go on forever. So I'm looking for the first number that they both go into, the smallest. That's why it's called the least. So I don't have to reduce it later. So what is the smallest number that 5 and 4 both go into? The first one that they both have in common is 20. So that is my least common denominator, 20. Okay, so it says change the fractions to equivalent fractions. That means they're equal. We're going to rename them with a new denominator of 20. So I start with 1 over 5. What do I have to multiply it by to give me 20 on the bottom? So 5 times what is 20? 5 times 4, so I'm going to put a 4 there. 5 times 4 is 20. What's 1 times 4? Okay, so now that's my new fraction, the new name of my fraction, 4 over 20. Okay, so looking at the second fraction, 1/4. Remember, I'm trying to get 20 on the bottom. 4 times what is 20? 5. And I got to do it to the top and the bottom so it doesn't change my fraction. So what's 1 times 5? 5 is correct. So now I'm going to rewrite the problem with my new fractions. So I have 4 over 20 and I have 5 over 20. So what would my answer be now that I have a common denominator? What? So you add 4 plus 5, you get 9. Bottom stays the same. 20. Can the answer be simplified? Yes or no? No. That would be your answer. So that first kind of baseline assessment you guys took, the biggest mistake I saw when you added fractions, you guys were just adding the top, adding the bottom. You have to have a common denominator. Okay? So let's look at the back. So what is the first number that you think 2 and 3 both go into? 6 is correct. And if you would ever pick one that's too big, then you'd have to simplify it at the end. But the smallest is 6. So because it wants the least, we should try to find the smallest. Probably should get that on the screen so you can see it, huh? Madison. So I need a denominator of 6. 2 times what gives me 6? Okay, so then I got to figure out 1 times 3 to give me a numerator. Correct? Kira? 3 times what gives me 6? 2. So what do I got to take the top times? 2. And what do I get? 2. Rewrite the problem now with my new fractions. 3 over 6. Notice it's minus 2 over 6. And what do I get? Minus 1 over 6. Can that be reduced? 1 over 6? No. It cannot. All right. Your assignment, a couple things I just want to point out to you. Page 18 here. It does say show work on loose leaf. That means there's not really enough room for you to write these answers out. Okay, I got extra paper in the back. It's already 3-hole punched for you. Help yourself to it. It's on the bookshelf there. Let's look at the fractions though. Which ones do I not need a common denominator? Which one do I not need to change like we had to today? 1 both has 5s. And 2 both have 8s. The rest of them, guys, we're going to have to do it like we did here. So take some room out. Follow this template. Follow that pattern. That's going to make it easier on you. Okay? Activity 2 just says select the fraction that's equivalent. Equivalent means equal. So it's saying which fraction is equal to a half out of those 3, and you would circle it. It's multiple choice. Which one is equal to 3 over 4? Which one would reduce the 3 over 4? And you would circle it. Activity 3 just wants to know the least common denominator. So it just wants to know this part that we did. You don't have to solve it. Just wants to know what the least common denominator would be. And then activity 4 should be self-explanatory. It says list the multiples. So they're doing 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3. That would go in the D spot. 4 times 4, same thing for 3. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, and so on. Does that make sense? So again, anytime you see this part that says loose leaf, please put those on a different sheet of paper so it's not so crowded.